guys, welcome back to another episode of the Call Me Other podcast. I am your host, one and only Faith. Welcome back to another episode. We are welcoming in a new season this week. It is springtime. A lot of us are losing that hour of sleep, but it's all for a good cause to spring forward. Let me tell you, living in Wisconsin, I am appreciating it. It has actually been a little bit on the warmer side, and by the warmer side, I mean the 50s and the 40s. That's warmer. Yes, I can't believe it. So I've been enjoying that. So I'm looking forward to a new season because I'm looking forward to thawing out because I definitely have been frozen up here for a while. But I hope everyone is having a good week and starting things off positive. I know it is a good week for a lot of us because y'all are starting off the week with a stimmy. That's right. Many of us are stimulated. Some of us are not. We bank with Wells Fargo or Chase. So I just don't understand how that works. So how is it that these local banks are able to get out the money ahead of time, but these big corporation banks, these Chase, these Wells Fargos, I didn't hear anybody complain about Bank of America, so maybe they're good. But a lot of these big corporation banks can't get the stimulus. Like they're talking about having to wait 5 days for it, not because you didn't get it, but for it to process. What? I don't understand it, so whatever. But those of you who did get it, congrats, and I hope you're stimulated. Treat yourself. Remember, this is not this. A lot of people put. I'm laughing because I know people on Twitter are like, invest in you a new business, invest in you this, da 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 da. It's really to stimulate the economy. So I say treat yourself with this check and continue to do what you can. I mean, $1,400 for the average American is like maybe half of our bills. So I don't know, but nonetheless, it's $1,400 more than what a lot of us had. So we're gonna be grateful anyway. And a lot of people are calling President Joe Biden Uncle Joe or else Moneybag Joe. I don't know if y'all saw the memes. That's hilarious. The different things. But yes, so it is a new season. Like I said, we're going back to that. It is springtime. I personally like spring because even being from Texas and living in different regions, spring is always the best season because it gets the weather right. I feel like besides the pollen in the air and all of that, it's really a nice time. It's when the birds are freshly coming back, so they're not too crazy yet. They're not waking you up just yet. They're making their way back, and you see warmer temperatures, but it's not hot yet. The humidity is slowly creeping in. You're seeing flowers blooming. It's beautiful outside, and it feels beautiful outside. You can kind of sit out, talk. It just opens you up for like a lot of good things. So I like the spring season. I hope you all like the spring season too. I was looking up some things. Now this is according to Vogue. The spring season colors this year are pastel. So it's not about going and being bright and bold. It's about being, a little bit more reserved, if you will. I don't know where the accent's coming from. But yeah, so that's the colors, and of course patterns are always in. So if you're looking to, be fashion forward for the springtime and looking for a way to revamp your house and all of that, those are some tips for you. So pastel and patterns are in for the season. I don't know. For me, I'm balling on a budget, so I like change out things for the beginning of springtime. Like I might, I actually already have like some bright flowers that I'm showing if you're watching it on YouTube. So I already have like bright flowers and different things like that out, and like floral. Floral is always my go-to for springtime. I don't know about everybody else, but I enjoy floral for whenever it's springtime and different things like that. So if you're looking for some fashion forward tips, they're saying that you want to rock pastel. It's like like I would say Oakwoods, like a lot of those things are in and trendy, and everything's so about less is more. So everything's all simplified and modern fashion. So a lot of that is in. So if you like that look, if you like that boho chic vibe or anything like that, that's what you need to do for the new season. Did I see anything other tips for it? No. I think a lot of us are looking forward to the spring because it's getting us closer to the summer, which is going to help continue on with things opening up. We've noticed states are opening up. So I think it's going to be interesting to kind of see how, as the season changes, how more and more people are going to be more comfortable to get out. So I'm looking forward to it. I know a lot of people are getting vaccinated now, and I know a lot of things are changing. So I'm looking forward to it. I know a lot of y'all are looking forward to it, especially I feel like for younger people, older people as well. I think everybody is just stir crazy. So also something that's happening is the royal family. The royal family has been all the talks this entire week, and I feel like they're going to be in the talks for a while. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle did this interview with Oprah, for all of you who are living under a rock, and it was with the Oprah Winfrey. And Oprah is the ultimate interviewer. I loved when Megan was talking about like not having a voice or not feeling like she couldn't speak on anything, and then Prince Harry, and then not Prince Harry, and then Oprah was like, "Were you silent or were you silenced?" Like as an interviewer, when you're listening to someone and you can counteract what they're saying, it's so genius. Like Oprah was the real winner. Like I saw there was an article that said that Oprah was the real winner of the interview. But yes, so that happened this week, and let me say this. Having watched The Crown, I just think that the royal family is a group of elitists who are elite for really no reason because they're not nearly as powerful as they once were. They don't, with the government, they really don't have any control. Like, it's not like what she says goes, like what Queen Elizabeth says goes. And Queen Elizabeth is 94. She became the queen at 27. Can you imagine somebody ruling for 70 years? They can't put her out or something? Like, that's crazy. I don't know. I know a lot of people are touchy about their queen and different things, but the fact that one woman has been ruling for 70 years, like at 27 she became the queen and she's 94 now? Huh? Like I know you have to pass away, but it's just like that's crazy to think. Like I don't know why she's not handing over her duties. I don't think Charles is ever going to see the light of day. And I was finding out that the way it works is, okay, because I didn't know this. Queen Elizabeth has 3 other kids. She has a daughter and 2 other sons. But it's because Charles, because he's the heir to the throne because he's the eldest. So that's how it works. So his children, because I thought she only had 2 grandchildren. But Queen Elizabeth got a bunch of family out there. So when Meghan and Harry were talking about, being non-senior members and senior members, I know for a lot of us, I was confused as to what they were complaining about or talking about. But come to find out, there's this whole monarchy situation going on. So being that Charles is the heir to the throne, his children come next. And his eldest children's children come next after that. So even though Queen Elizabeth has 3 other children, Harry, Archie, the brother, William, all of their children come before him. So I saw her daughter is like 13th in line, and her Queen Elizabeth's daughter is like 13th in line, and like her other son is like 14th in line. But Charles is the heir to the throne, and then it's his eldest son, and then it's his 3 children, and then it's Harry, and then it's Archie. So it's just interesting, the inner workings of all of this. So I just wanted to educate you all because I know if you're anything like me, you didn't know what was going on. But anyway, the interview was genius, and watching The Crown has given me so much insight. But it just seems like to me it's a headache for a lot of people that really don't have anything to really gain from it. Like even I saw Queen Elizabeth's sister, she wasn't able to marry who she wanted to marry, and she had to uphold all these standards knowing that she would never rule. So I just don't understand why people that are never going to have a chance to rule have to uphold all these standards, and you can't get divorced and all these hogwash. And then people that live those type of lives have a lot of skeletons, which I think a lot of us know, right? When you're someone who has to hide your mistakes and, you're confined to only being this, it allows you to really hide a lot of things and really hide a lot of skeletons. And that's what I'm learning from The Crown. And it's really interesting because I thought The Crown was loosely based, but everything they're talking about in The Crown, you could Google and you could see it happen. Like I said, I had no idea that she took over at 27. She was so young. Can you imagine? And basically, they consult with her about things, the way it works according to the show and the way it's looking. She doesn't have any government position, so they just can consult with her. And it's kind of like, to me, they're dignified Kardashians. They just have a whole bunch of influence, but they have a whole bunch of influence. More than power, they have influence. So the government has the power, they have the influence. Y'all get what I'm saying? Does that connect? That's kind of how it is to me. Oh, my bad. That's kind of how it is. So one has the power, one has the influence, and together the Brits love it. I don't know. It's very bizarre, and I should be the one talking Americans who love celebrity culture, right? We should be the last ones in line talking about that. But yeah, they look like dignified Kardashians, and they have to uphold all these standards, and it's just a little bizarre to me. I don't know. That's just how I felt about it. I don't know. Yeah, that's just how I felt about it. So anyway, guys, that was the interview, and with it, of course, a lot of people thought that they were speaking specifically to the issues with Meghan. And I feel like a lot of people did do that. I feel like they picked on Meghan, the press, and even like I was reading it, and I was reading the Daily Mail UK, and it is very vicious to her. Like it's very vicious to them, and like they were counteracting claims, and it's just a lot. I feel like racism is a hard subject for anyone to talk about, and especially coming from Harry and Meghan, especially Meghan being a biracial woman. But as a black woman, I can tell you this: racism. If you, it's my question to white people or white people that question what is racist is, what do you think racism is? If you think racism is just calling someone the N word or physically harming someone because of their race, then that's just a limited view. There's a big difference. There's microaggressions and there's macroaggressions. And I feel like I understand a lot of people feel like I shouldn't have to explain this. And I'm one of those people too. Like I don't like talking about racism because I feel like it's not on me to really explain that to anyone because I'm the one that faces it. I'm the one that deals with it. So for me as a black woman, it's something I really don't like to get into. But for the sake of the podcast, let's talk about it. I feel like racism is something that was created by European descendants. It was something that was created by whites. That's who created it. So I feel exhausted for a lot of blacks and a lot of people that feel like they have to explain it. Like I saw a clip, which I will insert, and it was Sharon Osbourne. She was trending because she was just like, well, what is racist? How am I racist? Tell me this. And it's just like when people come at a lot of aggression like that, that's a lot of energy to take versus taking a step back and really hearing the person out. And that's what I try to explain to people because like I said, there's microaggressions. So you look at situations like during the civil rights movement. Like I said, I'm using American examples because I'm an American. But like if you look at like the civil rights movement, like not allowing giving somebody the right to vote, that's not necessarily something that's harmful, that's physically harming them, but it's something that has a lot of impact over their life. So stripping someone for their rights to vote, having red zoning, which if you're black, you can't live within a certain community, or you're denied certain access to things, or being denied resources because of your race. Those are all things that may not, on the high scheme of things, it's not like someone's calling you the N-word, but it's a microaggression, and it's something that impacts your life and impacts what you can do and allows you to live in a confines. And that's what I encourage people that don't know. That a lot of people that don't know anything about racism or anything like that to just think about, because I think a lot of people listen to the interview. Like I was listening to my coworkers. Living in Green Bay, it's predominantly white area, and my coworkers just like, I don't understand why she's complaining. She knows what she signed up for, and I think that she was prepared to deal with it. I just don't think she knew with the magnitude that race would play into it, which a lot of us saw with Oprah brought up the different things about, her stomach and different things like that. And I don't think anyone knew. So I don't think the royal family liked her anyway to begin with, because I just don't think they liked her. And then, because she said in the interview, like, they didn't want to pay for her. They want her to continue to be a working actress. They didn't want her to come live over there, what I got out of it. So they never liked her to begin with. And then, they had one of the princesses, they wore like a racist brooch or something like that. And they just had a bunch of acts. And, I remember the royal family, or I think it was Harry or one of the royals had to come out and be like, hey, don't bring her race into this. Don't talk about race. And my thing is that Meghan's a whole biracial woman. So it's just crazy to think some of the things that she's had to go through. So I think from the beginning, if you followed the story, there was a lot of racial undertone to the things that she faced. And like I said, racism is such a sticky subject. I think a lot of people look at it on a very macro level. Like, it's not like they're calling you the N-word. It's not like you're this. It's not like you're that. And it's a lot of it, sometimes it's those microaggressions that really hinder you and that really impact your life. So no, you may not be being belligerent to me or doing, very brazenous things, but what you're doing is a microaggression. It can impact my life. And I think that's what happened with Meghan. So, and of course, you have Princess Diana on the other end of that. They didn't like her either. So it's just interesting altogether. That's my take on it. And watching The Crown, I'm getting a little bit understanding of what the royal family does. And I just think it's just too much work. Like, all of that just sounds exhausting, what they have to do for just no power, just all influence. It's a very upkeep job. Like, it's all about image. Like, it's just too much work. Who has time for that? You know, who really has time for that? So it's just a bunch of image and upkeep. And it's just, I don't know. My heart goes out to all of them because at the end of the day, these are Archie's family members. This is his parents. And these are his cousins. He should get a chance to really grow up and spend time around Williams, children. So that's my only thing is that this is someone's family. This is a family. And to watch them kind of throw their family away, which they have a history of doing. I saw in the episode of The Crown, Queen Elizabeth, she was forced to not support her sister's wedding, and that really broke her sister down. So a lot of times they just make decisions like this, and it's just for what? Just to keep up an image? I don't know. As an American, I don't know, but I could just tell you that it's wrong and that, Archie is a part of the family. He is someone who is eventually in line. And no, he might not ever rule, but the fact that he's in line of the throne, and he's pretty high up there. Like I said, Queen Elizabeth's other children are 13 and 14. So the fact that he's number 7, I mean, that's, he up there. He up there. So it's not like he just a nobody. So the fact that they didn't want to give him a title and just the things that they did, it was just a lot. And just like I said, no one deserves to be treated like that. No one deserves to deal with those microaggressions. And I just encourage everyone, be kind and be aware of your privilege that you do have. And I think that the royal family and a lot of people like them feel well, it's not like I'm doing this. And it's just no, but you are depriving me of resources, necessary resources that you would give to anybody else. Archie is no different from the other grandchildren. So why is my son being deprived of security and resources and different things? He's 7th in heir to the throne. And a lot of time, and the royals have a lot of assets, which equals a lot of money. So they have all this going, and you're going to deny my son of this? No, it's not okay. And I don't care what anyone says. It's clearly a racial undertone to the issue, but it's just sad that it has to be that way. And it's just heartbreaking that they would treat that girl like that. And all the tabloids and above anything, I just don't understand why Queen Elizabeth wouldn't come out and, support it. So, yeah, The Crown is a good show. Meghan and Harry, wish them the best. I wish the whole royal family the best, and I hope that they use this time to educate themselves and really learn perspective, because even watching the show, they've always struggled with having a sense of reality or a sense of relatability to people, being that they have to upkeep all these rules and different things. And I would encourage the royal family to liberate themselves. Y'all don't have to listen to those rules. You know what? Welcome in people. Have that open attitude. Rule and govern fairly. Welcome these people. The British took over all these territories and all these lands and all these countries. Be more open. Liberate yourself from these rules. This is 2021. We don't need to be holding on to rules that took place in the early 1900s. Liberate yourself. Free yourself. And Queen Elizabeth, step down, girl. You're 94. Enjoy the rest of your life, okay? Just saying. Just saying. That's too long. 70 years confined to that. You need to go. Just go let loose. I don't know. Just let loose. Just go do something. So yes, that's super important. And while we're on the subject of what's trending, let's talk about this Missouri pastor. Okay, guys, there was this Missouri pastor. His name is Stuart Allen Clark. Now, Stuart Allen Clark was feeling himself. He was in the spirit, and he decided to preach about women and how women that are wives need to do better to keep up with their husbands, to keep their husband around. Y'all know how I feel about stuff like this. So I'm gonna play y'all some of what he said, and let's just look at him. Let's just analyze him first, okay? So, oh brother, hey, listen, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just telling y'all what he said. That's all I'm doing here. Here he go.
Your man needs an attractive wife. Why is it so many times that women, after they get married, let themselves go? Hockey player said. He said, I married a trophy wife, but now she looks like the Stanley Cup. You see what I'm talking about?
This is in Malden, Missouri.
All right? That's what I'm talking about. Now look, I'm not saying every woman can be the epic trophy wife of all time, like Melania Trump. I'm not saying that at all. Now, most women can't be trophy wives, but you know, like her, maybe a participation trophy. I don't know.
What?
But all I can say is Not everybody looks like that. Amen. Not everybody
Silence.
looks like that. But you don't need to look like a butch either. A sweatpants don't cut it all the time, huh? Wearing flip-flops and pajamas to Walmart, that ain't gonna work. Ain't nothing attractive about that. It ain't. And when men want their wives to look good at home and in public. Can I get an amen?
So he ends up taking a leave of absence after these disparaging remarks, and he ends up being trending on social media. Apparently, it's a 22-minute clip, and he says all these things about weight and the way they dress and how you should be a well-kept woman. And
don't let yourself go. It's important that your man has a good-looking woman on his arm. But you say, how can I do that? Oh, I'm so glad you asked that question. All right, if you were sitting in my office, here's the first thing I'd say to you. And boy, I hate to say that. This is why I don't do marital counseling anymore. And that is weight control. But you say, my man looks like the Michelin Man. He is untouchable. Listen here. We're talking about how men are. We're talking about how men are. I understand, but men are the most visually stimulated creation on the earth.
Oh, brother, yeah, I'm not going to continue to play those clips. But that's just some of what he was saying. And as a woman, I can tell you, it is hard to upkeep yourself. I can just say that as a woman. And it takes money, time, and energy. And I can only imagine being a wife. Most wives are mothers, and that's just hard to do sometimes. And not saying that you should, I encourage you to just be out here and letting yourself go. But sometimes you have to, when you just had a baby, you need to sometimes get yourself together. When you have 4 or 5 kids or 2 or 3 kids that you're running behind, every day you're not going to be dressed to the nines. Like, I mean, are you kidding me? Here's my problem with men like him. And there's also another one. His name is Kevin Hunter. He's on social media. I decided not to insert any clips about him or anything like that because he is just ridiculous. I just think that women sometimes can get held to these unreal standards. And this kind of connects to the Meghan Markle thing. Like, women being held to these unrealistic standards. And it's just like, for what? When you're a wife and you marry someone and you love someone and you take that oath with them, it's not about how good you look, because looks are going to fade anyway. So it's just the fact that people like them go out of their way to be like, well, if you want to keep a man, you got to look good. You can't keep a man. A man has to want to be with you. So when I hear remarks like this, it's built in misogyny. Like he said, my husband looks like the Michelin Man. Well, that's okay. It doesn't matter what he looks like. It just matters what you want. And that's not a problem when people be like, they say like, look like what you want or all of that. That's not necessarily true. I think as a woman, you have to have self-worth and know that you're beautiful in spite of. There are a lot of beautiful celebrity women out there. Melania Trump, he says, or Beyonce, Blake Lively. There's just so many beautiful women out there. But you're beautiful too. Like, I mean, what's the problem what is with people telling women to be all of these things? Like, what? Imagine being a working class mother, right? You're a working class mom. You chase 2 and 3 kids around all the time. Or even if you don't have kids, just having to get up, you go work an 8-9 hour day, you're doing all these demanding things, and then having to come home and still turn into Blake Lively or Beyonce or Rihanna or something like that. It takes a lot of time and energy for that. So I think sometimes you have to find simple ways to love and enjoy your partner and love simplistic things. Like, you should be able to be around your partner with no makeup on, with just limited things, and maybe, keep your hair a little something done. But if all you can do is a messy bun for the day, it's just a messy bun for the day. For me, if it's just the fro for the day, it's the fro for the day. Like, it's just what I can do with what I have. And I'm trying to make sure that I can't keep you. I can only keep myself. So I can only be as good as I feel. And sometimes you go through periods where you do feel down. And I do hear people that say, when you look good, you feel good. But that's not always true, which we learn, again, referencing the Meghan Markle interview. It's not always what it looks like. So I think sometimes inner beauty is just as important as outer beauty. So I just don't understand when people like him come with these misogynistic remarks that are just so rooted in just hate and rudeness. Because it's just like, okay, sir, what's the point of you saying all that? Like, you just going in on me or just being rude for what? I just didn't like that and how he continued. I love how the audience was silenced because while his wife might allow that, most wives most wives do not play that with their husband. You better not agree with him. Okay, don't play with me. But I think that's so important for women to know that they are enough in spite of, especially with so much push for plastic surgery culture. A lot of women are changing their face, sculpting their bodies, and if you don't like something and you genuinely know you can't live like what you see, then go get that plastic surgery. Nothing's wrong with that. But I do think there is a problem when there's people like him who's just like, you need to be this if you want to keep your man and all of that. No, you need to appreciate your wife for what she has and what she brings to the table, which is so much more than just this overall image of what she looks like outwardly. Because you can spray perfume on a turd if you want to, but it's still a turd. And that's how it is with beauty. Like, you can be as beautiful as you want to, but if you're ugly on the inside, you're ugly on the inside. So I just wish sometimes when you have people like that, I just wish they encourage people to uplift people. If you see your spouse is down or going through some things, uplift them. Be there for them. Hold them accountable. Be like, babe, let's start working out together. You start looking good and you try to encourage them. You go with them when they go shopping. You put in that extra effort because you're like, wow. And you also talk to your partner. Sometimes, one of the signs of depression is, when people stop, showering, if you will, and they start their looks change. That is a sign of depression or something. Not saying it's a mental health issue, but I'm just giving examples, guys. So that's why it's so important that if you see somebody going through something, don't just kick them and be like, that's why you can't keep a man. You don't have to be a trophy wife, but you need to be at least a participation trophy. Like, what? Everybody's beautiful to somebody and everybody's ugly to somebody. So it's rude, sir, for you to sit up there in the pulpit judging. Isn't that a biblical verse? Okay? That they talk about that. And God's creations are all beautiful because he made all of us with our noses, our cheeks, all of that in mind because he knew how he wanted us to look. Right? So what you talking about, sir? Like, what? And it just got worse and worse and worse. He went on this 22 minutes. And another thing about misogyny is always the woman. The woman is always the one that's the issue. And like he said, the man could be looking all out of shape and put on 40 pounds. And it's nothing said about that, but it's the woman's fault. Like, what? No. If you want your spouse to look a certain way, or if you have that vainness in you, good luck on longevity. Because at the end of the day, that can only take you so far. I think inwardly, being able to have fun, enjoy someone, all of those intangibles matter. It's not just about looks. But Pastor Stuart Allen Clark, we certainly are praying for you. We know you're suspended from your job right now, so maybe you're suspended without pay. So, yeah. Like, what? And then look what he... Let me show y'all one more time because I'm getting upset. I'm thinking about it. Let me show you. Y'all that watching, he's an older gentleman. He's a little on the round side. I mean, it's not like he's anybody's Odell Beckham or anything like that, or JJ Watt or anything. Like if we're gonna talk about looks, like, you're not Jason Momoa, sir. What? It's the audacity of some of these people out here. Like, it's the audacity. What are you talking about, sir? Let's all be kind. That's what we're gonna end on. Be kind to people. You never know what somebody's going through. You never know the issues that they're facing internally. So it's important that you look at yourself and that you don't always... Sometimes we judge other people because we're really judging ourselves. We can pick out flaws in other people easy because we have those same flaws. So sometimes instead of making it about the other person, encourage them. And don't always... If you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. That's the golden rule. That's what I was told as a kid, and I think that's what every adult should adhere to. You do not need to go around picking on people and telling them they're ugly and this, that, and the other. That's just unnecessary and not nice. So don't do it. People that are doing those type of things that need to be aware. So we're calling you to the altar, Pastor, and we're also calling anybody else. Don't do that. Be nice, be kind, be loving, uplift people, keep going on your journeys. You can get better. Sometimes it's all about budgeting, especially with me with hair. Keeping up my hair is very expensive. It's not the same texture as a lot of the other textures are. So sometimes it's so much more upkeep than just what he's saying. So it's okay. Do the best with what you got. It'll be greater later. Like That's our phrase for these in total podcast series. It's gonna be greater later. Don't even worry about it, and don't worry about people like him who are just mean for no reason. Like, sir, what's your problem? Anyway, be kind, be nice, go out there and compliment someone. That's what I encourage everyone that's listening to do today. Go out there and compliment and uplift someone's spirit, because you never know, that can make their day. I'm gonna end with this. I had a rough time with it was a situation that was going on. I'll just leave it like that. And it was a really bad situation for me. I felt like it was a bad situation. And the person apologized to me for the situation. And that made me feel so good. And it almost made me cry, because sometimes when people do you wrong, they don't admit it, and you just feel like, wow, like, what did I do to you to deserve this kind of treatment? But when people apologize and do different things like that, that to me is an act of self-awareness and a kind act, because people do not apologize. So when people say I'm sorry and it's genuine, it means the world to me, you know? And I think that's so important. That's why being kind and having a positive spirit and killing people with kindness is essential in life, because those type of things will carry you over. And I think that's just so important to remember. So out there, it's okay if you're wrong. I think it takes a big person to apologize. And hopefully Pastor Alan Clark is out there and he is finding a way to cartel some of his views and really analyze why that's wrong. I think that's important. Well, you guys have a great week. You all stay blessed. You stay peaceful. Keep going on your journeys. I wish you all nothing but greatness. Let's just keep uplifting each other and keep going and doing great things. We're entering another season. So the first 3 months of the year are almost behind us, and we're getting ready to enter second quarter. What's the score looking like? Is life winning or are you winning? Peace and love, guys. Tune in next week. See you guys soon.